Welcome to the official Offspring podcast featuring Dexter and Noodles. In the next 10 minutes or so, you'll be subjected to all the ramblings, platitudes, and blathering bullshit we can dish out. In this webisode, Noodles and Dexter are pretty goddamn entertaining.
So I guess this would be like our New Year's podcast.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about some stuff about recording, because that's what the kids want to talk about.
That's right, yeah. That's our New Year's resolution, to talk about recording, right?
We read the comments. We know. They all want to hear about the new record.
That's right.
They don't want to hear about the beer machine in the Tokyo Lounge. They don't.
Nope.
They don't want to hear about that crap. They want to hear about the new songs.
Right.
And that's really not what this podcast is about. You know, we're just kind of rambling because it's fun and
That's right.
different. Because we want people to know the real us.
Right.
I think it's endearing.
But we could let's just run through a day of us in the studio with Bob and Eric.
All right.
Bob Rock, the producer, and Eric, who's our engineer.
Right.
So normally things start around noon.
Yeah.
We come in and we talk about everything that's happening in the news that day for about an hour and a half.
Okay.
Right?
Sure.
Talk about new equipment, musical equipment, what's out.
Right.
So and then what happens?
And it's lunchtime.
And it's lunchtime. Yeah, right. So when does the magic actually start happening, Dexter?
Yeah, exactly. Not till about 8 o'clock. Now, we have been working on a record, and, it takes a while. For us, it takes a while. I don't know. I suppose some bands are probably really spontaneous or whatever, but for us, it's not that it's not spontaneous. It's just we really want, we set the bar high. We want all the songs to be really good. And, I feel really glad and fortunate on the last record. We got a lot of really good reviews, and fans seem to be happy. And I like seeing that they're happy with the whole album kind of straight all the way through.
Right.
So, and that's important to us.
The world is changing as far as how fans in general view records.
Yeah.
And I'll say we're working on a new record. And, well, do you call it that now? Do you call it a record, or do you call it a CD?
What do you call it?
I always call it a record. Or an album. I don't care. All those terms work. Of 12 or 13 songs, that are cohesive.
Yeah.
That's what I call it.
Okay.
So we're working on a new set of 12 or 13 songs that are cohesive.
Cohesive in some way, yeah.
Yeah.
But so I guess really what happens is we end up trying like 4 or 5 different things because we want to make sure all the songs are really good. And that process of going back and seeing if you can better it,
Right.
It just takes a while. But,
And sometimes you'll change. For instance, when you start a song, sometimes it'll be a drum beat that you have in your head that you think you can build on, or sometimes it'll be a chord progression or, something like that. Or even, do you ever start with a melody and then kind of work back and build a foundation underneath it?
it happens sometimes,
Yeah.
yeah. I think You're Gonna Go Far Kid was probably like that.
Okay.
Where we kind of started with a basic beat, and I had a vocal melody, and Bob suggested changing the beat, and we changed the beat in the verse. And then that pre-chorus kind of came later, and it has that kind of electric piano, distorted piano thing, and that came after that. And I don't know. We did stuff like Ignition. It was very kind of basic 4-chord stuff, and I love that stuff.
Me too, totally, yeah.
And I would gladly write some more of that kind of stuff. And we try to on each record include a couple songs like that. But it's kind of like you've kind of visited that. And it's actually really hard to go back and do stuff without kind of just repeating yourself.
Right. It's hard to do it and make it sound fresh and new.
Fresh and new,
because you've been doing it for so long, and
yeah.
And
when you do it, it ends up being actually not as fun, kind of, because you feel like, well, yeah, I did this 15 years ago or whatever.
Right.
So we are kind of trying to push it a little bit, and still sound like us. And it ends up being more, the songs have more stuff to them, It's almost kind of like you're building a song where you have, like, I'm talking about, like, the pre-chorus to You're Gonna Go Far Kid, and then it feels like it needs something else, so we add a little piano lick on top of it. And then Bob says, this piano might sound kind of sweet, and maybe we should put a guitar with it that plays the same melody and mix it together and make a different kind of sound. And so we're really doing a lot of that kind of. Like,
you try to stay away from pretty sounds, don't you? Generally, unless it absolutely calls for it.
You think so?
I think you do. Yeah, you like and as do I. Rough edge on things.
Yeah. I guess there's something to be said for both, you know? Like, I mean, you love the Stones, and I do
Absolutely,
too.
yeah.
And they're like probably one of the best bands at doing stuff that have a rough edge to it.
Right. But then, like, you know, look at songs like, you know, Can't Always Get What You Want. Even though there's some rough sounds in there, but it's a pretty sounding song.
Beautiful song, Wild Horses and stuff. But
Yeah, Wild Horses.
But that's a good example of, like, they use a lot of acoustic guitars, and their acoustics sound like you're sitting around the campfire, and this guitar's like 50 years old, and you're hitting it with your comb or something, you know?
yeah.
As opposed to, you know, guitar sounds from, say, the 80s or the 90s that were very, very slick and sweet and just makes you cringe. So I'm trying to think of somebody in particular that you can kind of point to real quick. I don't know. I'm not trying to bag on other bands, but so it's always that kind of thing. But no, I think like for stuff like you know, in the last record we used piano in some songs. I don't think we've done that before. I don't think, but you know, a song like "Fix You" I think was actually a very pretty sound as far as the piano goes and stuff. So, so anyway, that's what we're doing. We're building a record.
That's right.
And when's it going to be done? We don't know. It could be done tomorrow. It won't be finished and won't be good yet.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Slap a label on it. Call it done.
Yeah. So we're making sure it's good because it's important to us, and it's what we're proud of it. It's what we do. Boy, that was a long story.
Yeah.
That's what the kids want, though.
They want to know.
The kids. I know we always call them the kids. We know it's not just the kids. Some of these kids are, I don't know.
The parents of these kids.
The parents.
Well, and then, you know, like we said, the professionals that are always at our concerts.
I like to talk about that. People don't realize that we have a lot of professionals.
Yes.
A lot of, what did we say before?
Doctors, lawyers, CFOs.
CFOs,
you know,
accountants.
A lot of MBAs you can see, and you can see that on the look of their faces.
A lot of MBAs, a lot of master's degrees, for sure.
Absolutely.
For sure, exactly.
You know, sprinkle with the odd PhD, but...
Yeah. A lot of science. You can see a lot of science in the audience. New Year's resolutions? Is that what... That's kind of your idea. You said we should talk about...
Sure, yeah, because I think they're just... There's no hope to them. They're completely futile.
We're trying to think of something to talk about. We could talk about, what are you doing on New Year's Eve? And you know what you do? You end up... New Year's Eve is so overrated. It's so boring. It's so anticlimactic. Such a letdown. You end up... I don't know. You go to the same people's houses with the same people. You put on the same stupid party hat. And everyone's kind of like, oh, is it 12 yet? And they go home. And it's a drag. It's kind of a bummer.
And everyone's hammered. You don't feel safe driving, you know.
Yeah. So you don't want to go anywhere, really.
Yeah.
But so we decided not to talk about that.
But you love fireworks, and I love fireworks. That's my favorite thing, to just get some really good illegal fireworks, and at midnight take my son out and go, here's how you light illegal fireworks, son.
Son, here you go.
And here's
a blowtorch.
So we'll set some off. That's how I like to bring in the new year.
So you're saying you don't have any New Year's resolutions, or you do, or?
Oh, I come up with great ones, you know, like quitting smoking, cutting back on the drinking,
right?
You know,
right.
Getting in shape, working out,
right?
You know,
I've seen you accomplish all those things over the years.
Yeah, no,
you should see how you were before.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, surf more, you know, and I'll start out surfing more, and then February rolls around, and I try to go, with goals that I can accomplish more. So this year, I think it's going to be keep drinking as much, if not more than I do, and smoke as much, if not more than I do. I think I can accomplish those goals.
Yeah, those are, yeah.
You
got to do something that's realistic.
Yeah, worry less about smoking and drinking. That would be a good one.
I like that.
Actually, that'll probably make me worry more.
One of my favorite things that you've said in the whole last entire year is that you asked me if I wanted a beer. It was right after Thanksgiving last year, I think. I said, oh, well, sure, yeah. Was there any occasion or something? You said, well, it's the opening of drinking season.
That's right, yeah. This is something I got from my friend Sam. Drinking season starts, really, we figured out Wednesday night before Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Because you usually have that weekend off.
Drinking season is officially open.
Wednesday night before Thanksgiving, yeah,
right. Here
in the U.S. I don't know what it's like in Europe.
Right.
The drinking season. I need somebody to define that for me.
Right.
But yeah, so then it starts. So it starts the Wednesday night before Thanksgiving. And we're talking about when does it end really? And because Christmas, you're drinking
Christmas,
that full time.
For sure, that's the season. Of course, at least that. But then you got New Year's a week later,
you got New Year's, so you
might as well be
pretty much drunk those whole 2 weeks. You know.
Right, sure.
So
right.
and then my birthday's early February, so I was thinking go till then, but now the Super Bowl Sunday is like right after that, like the first weekend in February, or second weekend in February. So it pretty much goes from the Wednesday before Thanksgiving through Super Bowl Sunday.
I thought drinking season was only open from Thanksgiving to New Year's. That's kind of what I consider, but apparently it's been extended to Super Bowl Sunday.
Yeah.
So,
so you stand in January, but they've extended the Super Bowl into February now. So
it's kind of like daylight savings time.
Right.
It's been extended.
Right. And that's not including the summer drinking season, which really starts in spring and kind of goes into the fall.
I didn't even know about that.
I don't even know when.
We haven't even talked about that.
That's right. Yeah, I think the summer drinking season starts around Easter, maybe Good Friday.
Wow. Yeah.
That's why they call it Good Friday. It's when the summer drinking season
That's why
starts.
it's so good.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I get it now. My New Year's resolution is to, you said maybe unrealistic, right? To finish the record by March. That's my New Year's resolution.
All right.
And actually, I'm going to try to do that.
Good. Let me know if I can help.
Yeah. I meant because lyrics are always they're last for me.
I
tend
know
to,
that's the sticking point, isn't it?
Yeah, and lyrics are a pain. They just I want to make sure the lines are all good, and it takes a while to do that. So, but yeah, let's get a record out next year. Let's go on tour.
That's a good and a realistic.
Let's tour the
resolution. I think
tour the world and elsewhere.
There you go.
Yeah. So I guess we should say like Happy New Year and all that.
Happy New Year and all that.
Yeah. All right.
Hey, how about let's raise a glass. Here's to a wonderful, awesome, kick-ass 2011.
I like that. Let's get them.
For us and all our fans and anyone hearing my voice right now on the internets.
Happy New Year. Let's get them in 2011. That's a good run.
There you go.
Yeah. Happy New Year, guys.
Well, I guess that about wraps it up this time. Be sure to check back soon for another installment of the official Offspring podcast. Now go on, get out of here.